Alan has seen a documentary that he told me about last night. I was blown away by your description of this movie, Alan. Um, Obviously, we all lived through the COVID crisis. What do we call it? Pandemic. Everyone
Yes.
says, the pandemic. And we learned a lot. We learned a lot about how much government likes to exert its control. We learned COVID may be real, but maybe our reaction was not the best. There is now a documentary that's out. I said, Alan, you have to talk about this. Tell me about COVID Collateral.
Yeah. So COVID Collateral. So there are certainly those people who are conspiracy theorists about COVID, that maybe we overreacted to the COVID crisis. Maybe lockdowns wasn't the right thing to do. Maybe putting people on intubators was the wrong thing to do, and maybe killing them and making things worse. Maybe the vaccine, maybe ivermectin was the cure and not vaccines. Maybe there was a cover-up over the work being done at the Wuhan coronavirus laboratory. This movie basically pulls all of those conspiracy theories and presents what people were thinking about while COVID was happening. And I will say this, I think if you are going to be truly honest, and if you truly want to understand what happened, and whether you believe it or not, it's important to get the other side. And this is the other side. This movie is about 70 minutes, and it's packed with information. Just starts off with the fact that we've had pandemics in the past, and we somehow survived those. How is it that we weren't going to survive COVID? And then it goes on to discuss, did lockdowns really help? Did lockdowns work? Then they bring up certain facts that they pulled out. For example, if you went in the early days of it, if you got COVID, they put you on an intubator. And 90% of those people who got put on intubators died. Then, so it goes through the science of it all. Then it goes into our responses to it, the censorship that was occurring, the doctors, scientists who began questioning what the public was being told about the science behind COVID, that they were not only being fired from their jobs, but then they were being banned off of social media and YouTube, so that they were silenced. And then it ends with the Tony Fauci and his work. The U.S. was putting money into this Wuhan lab to study gain of function research for the coronavirus, and that maybe Anthony Fauci has some explaining to do. Let's put it this way. And the funniest thing, the thing that was pointed out to me in this video that I hadn't really thought about until then, was to say that COVID came out of the Wuhan lab was racist, but to say that COVID came out of a diseased bat from a Chinese wet market, that wasn't racist. So this is, I don't think I think it's pretty clear my feelings on this, what you think my feelings are about this. Because I've certainly had conversations with friends who, labeled me, vaccine denier and things like that. And all it was me asking questions. Mm-hmm. During the pandemic, I was looking at the numbers almost every day. And the thing that struck me was that the majority of COVID deaths took place in two locations: Los Angeles and New York City. And everywhere else, it was, it was like you just felt like you could do it. And then the reality is, I don't think I personally know anybody who died of COVID. Maybe a friend of a friend, but I'm just saying, I think it's safe to say that we may have overblown this. And this documentary just kind of goes through it. And if you are one who believes everything the media had told you and everything the government had told you, I would just say watch this, because you do need to get another side to either bolster your opinion and say, I saw this, I didn't buy into its facts, and now my opinion is stronger. Or maybe what we need to do is come to the truth behind what happened with COVID, and the only way you can get to the truth is to question the facts that we were being given. And there you go. That's my political diatribe.
And that's what any good documentary should do. Ask questions, let the viewer decide. But I'll say this: if you are pardoning, like with Fauci, pre-pardoning someone, I feel like the pre-pardon is almost like you might be guilty of something if you're being pre-pardoned. Like, does that? I think it implies guilt. The person is guilty of something. All I'll say is this: look, I was a good American. I wore my mask. I thought, I'll just do what they say, but whatever. I think it's overreaction. I never got COVID, even though I was around people who got it. Yes, they were sick, and it was nasty. I never got it myself. Even I tested myself. I asked questions. At the beginning, I'm like, okay, just going to follow what the rules are. I think maybe we're overreacting. But wow, by the end of that, the fact that California, hung on to those authoritarian rules so long were horrible. And things like the Pineapple Hill Saloon, which is the bar that was shut down, could not work. People didn't work. And then a Hollywood production directly next to it got to open up and do their business. It's BS. I call BS. Lots of things opened my eyes to the BS of this. We need this doc, and we need people. We need us to look back and really question things. Safe and effective for Google algorithm there.
Yes, we're only commenting on what the document.
We're commenting on the doc. But yeah, this was I don't ever want to go through that again. And I think that if there's another one and they try to push this, there is going to be huge pushback. I don't agree with the mandate that you had to get the jab. Don't agree. I think it's a personal choice. And there are a lot of people in my family that were split. My sister has 4 daughters. They were not real into getting it. Now, so I'm just saying is I think you make your own choice, but I feel like the public trust in government and health officials is dramatically down, and they are to blame. They blame everything but themselves. So I'm glad this doc is out.
Yeah, the thing that COVID did that I think was the biggest crime was it now made us question science.
Yeah.
And there's another thing, this whole ivermectin thing, how the media, ivermectin won the Nobel Prize for medicine. It is one of the safest drugs. It was found to be an effective way to deal with the symptoms of COVID. And what the conclusion that the documentary made, not my conclusion, but we're reporting what this documentary had said, was that they had to demonize ivermectin, otherwise the vaccine program would have been useless. And it just seemed like this was a way to prop up pharma companies, according to the documentary, and not our personal opinions.
Well, I plan to watch this. Where can I see it, Alan?
I'm pretty sure it's VOD.
Great. Yeah. Just go to Just Watch on the app and look it up.